Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're gonna take a look at Enamorus in the Open Ultra League, and honestly this Pokemon is such a good one that you can currently get as well through raids. And maybe the Ultra League might not be always the ideal place for this one, because in the Master League this Pokemon is an absolute underrated meta breaker. It is actually not that highly ranked on PvPoke, I think like somewhere in the 40s or something like this, which is for Master League not that great. But honestly, this Pokemon is so good just mainly because of the coverage that it has. Having access to Fly, Grass Knot and Fairy Wind is ridiculous as a moveset, with having the Flying and Fairy type just helps out with A, stab, but also B, with a great defensive typing, especially in the current meta where ground type Pokemon are basically everywhere. This typing is absolutely fantastic, and trust me, this Pokemon is something that you want to get, especially, well, like mainly for the Open Master League. So go out and rate them. They are still going to be available, I think, for an entire week now at this point. So Enamorus is something you should try to hunt for. Also, what we have on this team as well, we have the normal Unova Stunfisk. This is the first time I use it because I literally just built it and I deeply regret building it. And this is not down to its performance. It was actually a very, very strong Pokemon that I would recommend you to build as well. It's just mainly because of the Stardust that I'm now missing. And as you'll see here, the first opponent kinda wants to forfeit here. But yeah, for Stunfisk, like, Stunfisk is great. Like, this Pokemon is absolutely great. It has amazing bulk. It is a very good Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, I don't actually want to hate the performance of this Pokemon, but like 600,000 Stardust was something I actually should have not invested, because I forgot that we have like more Pokemon coming out soon as well. We have the Unova tour coming up. So for me, I definitely gonna try to save up some Stardust maybe, especially looking towards, yeah, I'm gonna be at the EOIC in London. I kind of want to try and get some Stardust there as well, and there's always kind of an event going on for the EOIC where you can get some extra Stardust, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, basically what I have to say here is that the Pokemon itself is great, just Stardust, if you don't have enough Stardust, don't go for it. Anyway, we're gonna see here on what this Pokemon can do. The Unova Stunfisk is going to be one of the hardest answers to the Talonflame, and sadly they're going to have the Annihilate in the back, which is going to make this one a little bit of a tricky one, as a Mud Bomb is coming through, going to connect. We're gonna try our best to go for another charge move, and I try to get them into a range where I can hopefully knock them out with just the Fairy Wind damage. That's kind of where I want to get them to, but I'm not too sure we're gonna be able to get there. As you will see, we see the shield from the opponent coming up. We do a lot of damage with Fairy Wind. I'm of course going to be forced to go for a Swift Bait, but it's going to be a tough one. I hope that I can outspeed him afterwards. It is going to be a race here to the next charge move. Who is going to be able to win in this race here? Let's find out. Swift is coming through. In comes the Moonblast on a CMP tie. Can we survive the Rage Fist? We can. Clefable, rank 2 Clefable here, is going to be able to take that KO and win us this battle. And with this one, we're going to move on to the next opponent. We're going to have a Dragonite here in the lead. And you see me staying in here. You see me going for 6 fast moves, and you see me swapping out here, and you don't see the opponent going for a charge move. But it's okay. This is a team that I battled, I think, 2 or 3 times in 13 battles I did with this team. I don't know if it's going to be in here as much as well. Like, I have to always cut down the Ultra League battles because they're always like around 4 minutes, and we would have like a 30-minute video nearly. Yeah, this is a team that is just going to be able to completely wall me. Like, what we will very likely face in the back here is going to be another Steel-type Pokemon, I would assume. A lot of times, like, I definitely had like one team where there was this Registeel. Here it is Typhlosion. But actually, this one is a bit different, because Typhlosion is not as great as Registeel against us, and I make a bit of a mistake here, which is kind of sad, because I actually thought of going for that play. I wanted to go for the Moonblast here, I go for the safe play of going for Swift. And being the safe play is actually not even safe there. If I went for the Moonblast, I would have won the battle at this point, because Moonblast does more damage, and Moonblast will have knocked them out from this range very likely. But because I thought they were gonna definitely use a shield there anyway, I decided to go for this move, which is not really smart. And as we'll see here, Dragonite is coming back in. I'm very likely not going to be able to win this battle here as well. But again, I make a bit of a silly mistake here. I go for the Discharge. All good, we're gonna get the shield from the opponent. They still have a shield left. I actually thought they only had 1 shield before, but I guess they had 2 shields. Dragonclaw is coming through, and here I make a mistake. What mistake did I do? I decided to go for the Swift here. That's fine, I have to get the knockout anyway. But I had to try to deny them here. I should have went straight for the move, because what we see here is the opponent goes for a charge move, but I would have been able to actually survive a Thunder Punch. As you can see here with 1 HP, if I went straight for the Swift, I still needed 1 fast move to go for another Swift afterwards. I would have been basically losing the CMP type, but still getting the shield. Then I could have went for 1 more fast move in the Incinerate, go for a charge move afterwards, and I would have been able to win the battle. So this was 2 times winnable, and I kind of screwed it up, even though we got completely hardwalled. speaking of getting completely hardballed, we're getting completely hardballed in the lead, but we're also going to have a complete hardball to the Zygarde in form of Enamorus. And this is one of the biggest reasons why this Pokemon is also so overpowered in the Open Master League, where Zygarde is currently especially in higher elo basically in every single team. Enamorus completely resists everything twice basically other than Crunch and Hyper Beam. And Crunch is still single resisted and Hyper Beam is a garbage move that nobody is running. So Enamorus is one of the best answers to Zygarde, and even here, of course, in the Ultra League, Zygarde is going to be a thing. And now thinking about the Stardust again, we're also going to have, I think around 2 weeks at this point, just after UIC, an event coming up where you're going to be able to get Cobalion and Virizion for the Open Great League, which both take 100k for the secondary charge move. I definitely have to try to go out and grind Dust. I hope there's somewhat an event in between where I can... There's actually an event in between where I can grind Dust. So yeah, that's definitely going to happen for me because otherwise I cannot do content. So always think twice if you invest 600,000 Stardust for a Pokemon here in the Open Ultra League. That's the thing with Ultra League as well, which I feel like makes it not as interesting for a lot of people. It's just the cost that you have with this one. For Master League, I feel like a lot of people are kind of a bit more more leaning towards the Master League because you are going to at least have Pokemon that you can use in raids as well. This is just not the case here at all. But yeah, as we will see, the YSM is coming through. We're going to go for the full farm on nearly. Let's take a look at this one. We're going to have here the Earth Power coming through from the opponent, and we will see the Zygarde coming back in, which is going to be great for us because now we have Crunch. It is going to get no debuff here, which is really nice as well. We can go for the Moonblast next, which is going to be able to do a ton of damage against the opponent. Not going to be enough to knock them out, but we might be able to just Swift them down. I'm not too sure about it, because Swift barely does any damage here. Crunch is coming through. I'm a bit worried. We don't get the debuff. I go for the Swift. This is a bit of a risky play, but I think I can farm them down afterwards, and I do farm them down afterwards, and this works perfectly because I have another Swift stored for the Gastrodon, allowing us to win that battle, and we can move on to the next opponent. So let's take a look at the opponent here. We're going to see Virizion against us, and they swap out again into a Steelix. Steelix is just a hard answer to this Pokemon. But then you take a look at the Open Master League, and you don't find a Pokemon like Steelix in there. Like, you don't really have a great Steel-type Pokemon other than Heatran, which is something that I'm most likely going to write myself down here real quick, because that makes a good video trying to hunt down Enamorus with Heatran. So yeah, this is going to be something that is not really that common in the Master League if you want to try to hunt this Pokemon for that one, because again, like Enamorus is going to be a Pokemon that is going to be super strong, then doesn't really have a lot of answers. Like even Dialga is going to be a bit of a trickier one still for the Dialga, even though you don't really do it super effective on even neutral damage with the charge moves. But they double resist damage with the Dragon Breath as well. Here we're going to have Clefable against the opponent there as well. This is going to be a bit of an interesting one. Leaf Blade is coming through. We're going to see here our Swift coming in against the opponent here as well. This is going to be very interesting. This is going to get us the shield, which is really important, as they're going to try to spam their moves. We will see the Heatran, the Leaf Blade coming through. I'm still thinking about the Heatran. And we will have also a Moonblast now coming in against the opponent's Pokemon here, which is going to be the Malamar. And with this, we're going to be able to definitely win the battle at this point. Like, this is such a dominant battle for us. We're going to be able to go for the full farm down here. We're going to have a ton of energy, and in comes now the Swift from us. This is going to allow us to get some damage, but it doesn't get the KO, and so it's gonna be a bit more awkward, sadly, which we will see here as well. The opponent is going to decide to go for another charge move. It is going to be the Leaf Blade, and we can just go for the Swift against the opponent, which allows us to at least get the Pokemon down and the KO. So, good game there. We can move on to the next opponent. That is a bit more of a better lead there, I have to say. We're going to see the swap out now into the Oranguru, and I kind of try to get some damage in, but they somehow snuck in an extra move here, which I don't know, maybe should have happened. I'm not too sure about it. Actually, I don't really want to say anything here where I regret it later on. We're going to be able to catch a Trailblaze though, which is fine. Like, it doesn't really do too much damage, especially the first one. And now we can try to go for a Moonblast, but here we have to use shields because otherwise they're going to be able to just out-spam me and like do so much fast move pressure that I'm gonna regret it in the long run. I go for the Swift, I'm just hoping that they're gonna use a shield here, which they do, which is great, as I can still reach out for another Moonblast. This would knock them out, but no matter what, I should be able to align myself, which is the most important thing here. I might have to use a shield, but alignment is key. I cannot allow the Steelix to be up against my Enamorus. And so while they go for Trailblaze, I can go for the full farm down. I still should be able to go for a Moonblast against them as well, which is going to get them a little bit lower than, for example, the other move would have done. And so Moonblast gonna connect, doesn't get the debuff or anything like this. Hopefully we're gonna still see a Moonblast debuff here. But we're gonna have Broguiere against Enamorus, and this is going to be such a dominant matchup for the Enamorus again. Being able to double resist the fast move and single resist the Leaf Blade, and while it doesn't look like he resisted, it is still going to be totally fine because we want to get low, so the opponent's Steelix doesn't have energy that it can gain from us, and so I can go up here for like a fly, and I can knock them out no matter what they're gonna try to do here. This game is going to be over because I get more damage onto them, and this should put them into range where Mud Bomb is going to be enough to kinda knock them out here as well. Hopefully we see the Mud Bomb coming through. It is going to be just not enough, and so we are forced to at least go for 2 more, so it's not as great as it seemed. And yeah, we will see this forfeit though, and so that's going to be fine for us. Second to last battle, we're going to have here a great lead for us because the entire team beats it, and we're going to have the LilyKatchum coming in here, and I can just go for Discharge. I should just stay in and just go straight Discharge the entire time, because the opponent, yeah, is going to be a bit more difficult, because what we will see as well, like the opponent's just staying in here, they want to kind of keep their LilyKatchum around, but they are always going to be able to outspeed them here, so we should be kind of fine. I hope it's going to be enough to knock them out though. I'm not too sure if a Discharge is actually enough, because Discharge is not a strong move. We don't really do that much damage. But yeah, let's see here. We're gonna have this swap back into the Manibus, and what I need to do here is I need to overfarm a lot. I need to go up to at least like a Discharge, and maybe even a little bit more to then swap out afterwards. I decided to go up to a little bit over a Discharge, which is great because now I can try to catch the move onto our Clefable. And I should even overfarm a lot more here as well. I think it would be a mistake if I just go straight for the move. I should just go up to 100 energy because the opponent cannot really do anything here. And so what we will see here is that we are going to be able to go ahead and just let those moves go through. It is going to be the aerial ace, and we are going to be seeing the opponent's LilyKatchum trying to snipe us. That is not ideal, but it's okay though, because we're still going to have our Stunfisk. We can even overfarm here by a little bit because the opponent is energy dry. I can go for Discharge here, not really risking anything. It's hopefully going to be enough to knock them out. It is. And let's see what's coming in next. It's most likely not going to be the Manibus. I would be very surprised if it is going to be the Manibus. It's going to be the Gastrodon, and this is perfect because you know what? There's a Pokemon that can Core Break Gastrodon plus Manibus, and guess which Pokemon it's going to be? It's going to be Enamorus, and we have Grass Knot, which will one-shot the opponent's Gastrodon guaranteed, and we have Fly, which is going to be able to knock them out from this range here as well, and I just have to go up to 2 moves, and I will be able to win the battle immediately thanks to Enamorus. This Pokemon is absolutely wild. Like, again, for Valentine's Day, this Pokemon really is good, and I would really recommend you to build one, and we can move on to the final battle for today. For LilyKatchum, is going to be, again, a bit of an awkward one. If you go for Mud Bomb twice, you're going to be able to outspeed them later on, which is kind of cool, but I do think that they actually survive a Hydro Cannon with Stunfisk just because you have insane amounts of bulk. We get the shield here, which is kind of important, but I make a bit of a mistake here for the... No, never mind. Yeah, I make a mistake for the next one. I decided to go for Mud Bomb here, which is a bit silly. And I make another mistake. I swap out of here because I expected the opponent to go for the shield there, but at the end of the day, maybe it does work out in my favor. I am going to be able to get out the opponent's Tentacruel. I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to actually win this battle though. I'm going to go for another Moonblast here. I should be able to survive any kind of hit that is not going to be a Sludge Wave, so I should be okay. Exactly, Scald coming through, doesn't get the debuff. Moonblast is just doing more damage than a Swift. Moonblast is a hard-hitting stab move. Swift is a non-stab bait move, and so at this point I have to overfarm though in order to have really a chance. I have to let the Scald go through as well to really have a chance here. And I need to keep my shield. If I don't have my shield, this game is kind of over, because both my Pokemon are now in one-shot range from the LilyKatchum, and LilyKatchum is the Pokemon to beat. They're going to have Zygarde in the back, and I have my Enamorus, and they go into the LilyKatchum, and I do think they're actually in Fly range here. I don't think I have to go for anything, but they go for the Ice Beam, which is great, because now I still go for the Grass Knot, and the opponent is going to be at a point now where they don't have an answer anymore. And Enamorus is just hunting down those Zygardes, which is ridiculous. Like, look at this play. Like, we have, like, already before several times where Enamorus was able to kind of beat this here. What you see is that Enamorus, of course, doesn't have the same bulk that you would have already before, basically. But I should still be able to take a hit now after, getting rid of the debuff. That's why I subbed out of here. And I still should be able to hopefully win this battle here. I just have to reach another Fly, which I can. And Enamorus is going to be able to win us this battle here with a... very nice sweep there. And let's take a look here as well. How did this set go? We can check it out straight away. No cuts, no nothing. We had a 4-1 here with this team as well, which is really cool. Now, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.